Lightspeed bundles when? Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. Cuckers, George, Canada, Coneheads. The #1 question in Galaxy is no one cares about what to farm first. What should I do? How to counter this? How to counter that? No. Lightspeed bundle when is the #1 question in this game, and we got a new one. Perfect timing. With Star Wars Galaxy, there's a new Profundity Lightspeed bundle. Some old ones coming back as of now. We're also going to talk about how the recent Leviathan buff, how did it affect things like Profundity, Mace Windu, Negotiator? We're going to take a look at all of that. And of course, for everyone who likes this video, I got a really, really special giveaway. Not a scam. It's an 8-star giveaway towards the very end to get you guys going for this weekend. Hopefully the week treated you well, and the weekend's going to treat you even better. Real quick before we get rocking and rolling here, I'm taking my time to make a Hondo review. Now, you guys probably already seen my initial impressions on live stream day one. We're using him on offense. Ignore the mods, just random placeholder stuff right now. And tested it on defense yesterday. Let's just say the fact that you haven't seen a video now, in case you haven't seen the live streams, this is quite a, let's say, more on the Luke side than the Worm side for this character. I'm going to give him one more day of testing, and then I'll get you guys a video more in depth on things that I believe need to be fixed on this character. Potentially small buffs. I think there's some fixes at the very minimum. But speaking of Hondo, while you're holding yourself over for the more in-depth breakdown on this guy, per usual, the game is always in a state of disrepair. We waited months and months and months for this air battle to use Hondo at the later tiers, and you couldn't use him in the air battle that just happened. Well, they just made an update just a moment ago saying that they're going to be adding an additional run of the pirate air battle that's going to be rocking itself on September 22nd. So over the weekend. And of course, don't forget, my friends, for all of you guys who are picking up Hondo, I'm not sure how many, but all of you guys are picking up Hondo this weekend. Tomorrow, we are going to be getting the double and triple drop party, but it's not really a fun party if there aren't a lot of people celebrating the occasion. Yeah, we already talked about this quite extensively. Very unfortunate. The premise between bonus drops and triple drops and double drops veering off course like a lot of the things in this game, I would say. Anyways, we'll maybe do some I don't know, farming this weekend, because basically after the Hondo event, I feel comfortable. I don't need to hoard up any more energy. I had more than enough shard shop currency to do this. So I have a lot of energy that I can, maybe see how crazy a triple drop would look like. Anyways, enough of the Hondo shenanigans. Lightspeed bundle time, baby. Within the data mines, we have ourselves quite an interesting one. Coming around, actually, I believe, tomorrow at the earliest, you are going to be seeing, likely on the web store first, you're going to be seeing the Profundity Lightspeed. There's two variations. Kind of funny, as we're going to show. And then 9/22nd, it's when it's going to come back again. I believe it first shows up on the web store to incentivize you to spend money over there. And then it goes on the mobile side of things on September 22nd. Profundity Lightspeed #1 is $30. And Profundity Lightspeed #2 is going to be $20. Well, what's the difference? Well, let me show you what the difference is. And how ironic that if you really wanted to Lightspeed your way to Profundity, you're going to kind of need both if you really want to get it right now. Lightspeed bundle when? We don't got time to wait for all that stuff. So let's go hop over to the general data mine so you can see, we'll show the other Lightspeed bundles that are circulating as we speak here. But as we seeing right down here, Profundity 1 Lightspeed bundle, you're going to get these characters at Relic 7. This is going to be the key distinction, but there's a second one. You get less characters, but you get some of the more difficult to geared. Farming's not as big of a deal. Yeah, some of these things are slower to farm, but everything's double drop for these guys. It's more of the Kyrotech you're going to be saving here on things like Mon Mothma, for example, and Radis. Those are going to be your two biggest things, because in Lightspeed bundle #2, you're going to get more characters and ships, but they're going to be at Relic 1, and you're going to be missing out on Mon Mothma as well as Admiral Radis. So those are your two biggest differentiators. Cost, which again, going back over here, Profundity 1, which has more relics, Relic 7, $30. Profundity Lightspeed bundle 2, which has more characters but less relics, that's going to put you at $20 US. So if you wanted to really blitz your way to the Profundity. Gary, pull it up real quick before we start talking about how Profundity doesn't feel good that they kind of indirectly nerfed the Profundity. And they're like, hey, by the way, buy my Lightspeed bundle, right? But yeah, basically, if you want to knock all this out, well, you need Radis, you need Mon Mothma. So it depends how impatient are you. The big thing is Admiral Radis and Mon Mothma are the Kyrotech heavy characters in this buncher. So that's why they kind of secluded it into the more expensive one. And keep in mind as well, just because you buy these, you can't just walk straight into the event. One, you got to wait for it to show up the one time in a blue moon every month. Secondly, you still need to take some of these to Relic 9. For example, Radis, still got to take it up 2 more Relic levels if you do buy the Lightspeed bundle. So for people that especially want to capitalize on next Tuesday's new Rogue One ship, and you're like, well, I can't participate in this. I don't have any of the Profundity stuff. Well, this is going to be a great way to accelerate you, well, 90% of the way there, assuming you're going to buy both of the Lightspeed bundles. And the ship looks to be like the punishing one, but for the Rogue or Radis fleet, I should say. So I'm excited to check this out next week. However, I have a tinfoil hat theory. If you guys recall, we bring it up here for those that some people didn't get the memo. They buffed the Leviathan. And they were talking a lot about Profundity, which I do agree. A lot of these changes negatively affect the Profundity, but it was awfully odd. They also lumped in Galactic Republic and Jedi into this buff, even though they're focusing on Profundity. So again, kind of a Trojan horse style thing like they did last year for Leviathan, right? And Chimera, well, he was just standing on the sidelines, and somehow he got hit with the nerf, essentially, with an indirect buff here. But basically now, Galactic Republic, Jedi, and Rebel enemies can't assist or attack again if their attack is targeting a Sith, which, well, last I checked, the Sith Empire is basically a full squad of Sith Lords. So the biggest issue I'm seeing right now, and I'm going to show you in battle, you're buying the Lightspeed bundle. I would say you're probably going to disregard pretty much all the counter videos that I've made, other people have made in regards to Profundity versus Leviathan, because, well, the Profundity fleet relies a lot on assisting and attacking out of turn, and you can't do that anymore. So my theory is they nerfed it. They're trying to sell you a Lightspeed bundle so you can get the new Rogue One ship. I feel like the Rogue One ship should bring Profundity back into some degree of consistency. Some people are saying they're able to kind of beat Leviathan still, even without them not being able to assist anymore. There's a slight upside. Since you're not assisting as much, you're not getting as many thermal detonators on you or concussion mines, whatever they're called, from the Sith Bomber. But even this post here from Dexter Lab, who posted a video, I'll leave a link to this post so you can go check it out yourself. Even he said here, he's not sure how sustainable it is. You know, some of his battles he's falling short. And, you know, it's a very tight window. If you want Profundity to win against Leviathan, now you can't assist. Big issue. Reading some of the comments, I actually am experiencing more in line with someone like Richie down here, where he's 0-5 today. Most battles I got between 75, 85%. Best he got was 96%. That's someone like me. I haven't made it really work yet. Could happen. And also keep in mind, some of the stuff that I'm seeing is the Scimitar not coming out first, which could really mess things up. But I think if it's getting this close, potentially, maybe Rogue One will get it across the finish line. So it kind of sucks they nerfed it or buffed Leviathan to stop Profundity. They're selling you Lightspeed bundle so you can buy the new Rogue One ship. So not saying Profundity's completely out of it, but it's going to be a much more difficult battle. So let me show you guys real quick. Oh, actually, I forgot. Oh my gosh. We have other Lightspeed bundles. I apologize. You guys like, why are you talking about gameplay? We don't play the game. We buy Lightspeed bundles. General Anakin Lightspeed bundle is back in action in the web store. And on top of that, I forgot to mention this too. We got ourselves Lightspeed tokens for the Rebels. There's a free Lightspeed token there. You know, it's not going to change your life, but you can take a character to gear 10. And, you know, that saves you some cards. I got some of the newer characters potentially. So it's a freebie. Take it. It's not going to change your life. But every little bit that you can save on Kyrotech adds up a ton. And we have other more premium Lightspeed tokens for the Rebels as well. And the Rebel faction is pretty darn big. And I have a feeling a lot of people might be buying this to boost up characters like, well, these guys right here. To be fair, a lot of people have POW up and running. Who knows how high of a relic we need to really get the most out of the Rogue One fleet or ship. But not a lot of people have Bodhi up and running. What a world where no one had Cup and Bodhi upgraded. Well, now they both have uses in this game. Well, Cup has a different use. It's more of a, it's a philosophical use. right? It's a statement, fashion statement being made. So that could be one of them. And again, where you use those Rebel Lightspeed tokens, or the Rebel faction is quite robust. Obviously, if you have Lightspeed bundles already used, you don't need to upgrade those, right? So there's a lot of stuff. It just really depends what you're chasing after. I would highly, highly recommend you use those Lightspeed tokens. If you're buying, especially the premium ones, don't use it on ones you can get a Lightspeed bundle for, right? Use it for things that aren't bundled inside of one of those Lightspeed bundles. And instead, also maybe use it on characters that have a lot of Kyrotech on them. So more of the newer, brand characters, like for example, maybe Saw Gerrera potentially, right? I mean, Mon Mothma's on a Lightspeed bundle if you want to do that, or some of these other lesser used rebels that aren't bundled in Lightspeed stuff, for example, like Bodhi. So a lot of ways of going about it. Everyone's gonna have a little bit different spot in the game for where they could use their Lightspeed token. Who knows? Maybe I'll buy one for the first time and boost up, I don't know, one of these last two rebels that I have. But let's keep the Rebel shenanigans going. Let's quickly hop over to the fleet arena and show you basically the three fleets that were supposed to be impacted. And I will say, Profundity got hit the most, Negotiator got hit the second most. Mace Windu, which a lot of people, including myself, was like, are they trying to nerf Windu? Windu seems to be untouched, which is kind of weird. I didn't see people, Profundity being Leviathan seems all right. If anything, I would think they'd have a bigger problem with Mace Windu beating Leviathan, and maybe their buff didn't do as much as they were hoping for. Anyways, let me show you real quick the Profundity shenanigans here. And who knows, maybe there's gonna be a slight change in strategy before the Rogue One ship comes, but just kind of sticking to the usual stuff where you do the basic, give it over to Outrider. He's gonna start off, and then he's gonna do this, but notice, we're never going to assist. And before this counter would, like, watch, no assist. Before this counter was so close to the wire, it required the perfect utilization of abilities, some good assisting. Now you get none of it. But on the upside, I'm getting less concussion mines because I'm not assisting as much. So that's the big, there's an upside, but it's also kind of a downside here too. Just getting dude basic, but yeah, no one's assisting. We're not moving Radis's ultimate nearly as much. And pretty much, I'm only gonna get a chance to bring in one reinforcement. We're gonna bring out, see, right now we're at 44%. We're definitely a bit behind schedule right now. Bring out Cassian Zewing. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the, see, you can't do any assisting, you can't do anything. So basically we're just gonna put Dash Rendar under the stealth here, clean up that daze, do a basic here, try it again, keep pumping our ultimate along. And here, we're gonna clear up all this foresight, just get rid of everything right now. Here they go, reinforcements have been disabled again. The main goal is to get to that ultimate, get rid of Leviathan, and we're gonna be well on our way from there. And there we go, let's see, we're gonna do another one of these. All right, we got the speed up cooking. Let's do a buff this spell. And we're at 70% right now, which isn't good. Not too shabby. I mean, I can go ahead, pass another turn to Outrider, see if that helps me out a little bit. We're gonna do a basic. Another basic here. We're gonna do another basic here. It just feels so weird not seeing the Profundity fleet get anything done. And now the problem is, that's actually some good RNG. They went for that guy here. So who knows? This actually might be going pretty well. I may have had a good round of luck there. Let's see, I can't remember. Does this evaded? Can't be resisted. You know what I'm gonna do? Let's just hit this guy over here. There we go. And then we're gonna do a basic here. Actually, I probably could have done the other ability, to be honest. We can't call anyone to assist. Not gonna happen. Just do a basic here. All right, let's see. Where's Profundity's cooldowns at? 96%. This is exactly my experience, like just barely missing it. Maybe if I did the other ability, maybe Dash Runner could have gotten there. It's a much tighter squeeze than it was before. But again, I think just adding the Rogue One fleet should bring this back into a level of consistency, again. But it kind of sucks. You got to basically buy your way to get back up there again. So have to wait and see. So I don't think Profundity's completely out of it. It's a much more difficult battle. And I think I actually got kind of lucky here with the few plays on top of that. So a lot of weird things can go on. But I think I've been seeing myself more in that 70, 80, low 90s% range for that ultimate. Let me show you the other things real quick. Oh, too much ship content. It's like, too much. No more ship battles. No. Let me show you the other one that got massively affected. So Negotiator was also, kind of a fleet you could use. It wasn't my go-to for Leviathan. I much prefer, I'm not even gonna actually bother. I'm just gonna show you the core of all this so you can see how affected it was. I didn't really use this Leviathan. My preferred counter is the Mace Windu's Endurance. Here, basically, the Negotiator counter just is basically destroyed because the biggest play that we really need is the swarm attack. And, well, look at this. You can't swarm attack anymore because of the Leviathan buff. Not going to waste our time anymore. on this. Now, we just showed the Windu one real quick. Now, again, we were all expecting that CG was eyeing Mace Windu because, well, yeah, that's the one that's the best option for off-meta, cheapest, quote-unquote, right? Well, this still works. And the thing is, that buff that they applied to Leviathan doesn't really affect us too much because this isn't really an assisting heavy fleet. Yeah, we have like the ultimate on Windu, but that's a cherry on top. You don't need that to win. Like, you know, maybe Profundity or, you know, Negotiator. So this one's a bit odd. I mean, nothing changed. I mean, from, you know, limited time I've, you know, retried this counter. This basically feels untouched. So I'm kind of showing you something you probably seen a million times with me doing this on live stream and grand arenas and whatnot. You put Anakin under stealth. We're going to get the isolate on 5s. But again, we're not relying on assisting like the previous 2 fleets. So it's like, all right, this doesn't really affect us. And I'm not complaining. My fear is that Capital Games, they wanted to chimera this, essentially. Let's go ahead and actually, we'll do that. My assumption is they wanted to chimera this and basically just take it out of the picture, right? Actually, this is actually rough RNG here. Oh, man, this is just a bad round of RNG. I think that should do it. There we go. We're good. That guy's overstayed his welcome. So I'm not 100% sure what CG's intention was. Maybe it truly was just the Profundity they were trying to stop, but I think in that regard, they made it more complicated. But adding the Galactic Republic Jedi clauses, it's a bit more odd because this feels relatively the same to me personally. Reinforcements got cut out, but at this point, you know, you see like the pacing is pretty much the same. Right now, we're probably going to run into some issues, but like this is the only swarm attack I have. I'm not even going to use it right now. Doesn't make too much sense. Let's just go ahead and do this. All right, clear up that foresight. Let's see if we can try to drop a basic here. We're probably going to lose Annie. That's fine. But once we get the bomber out, which is our main concern, let's actually go under stealth here. Yeah, clear up that foresight, and then we should be able to finish them off here. And then I won't bore you anymore with ship stuff. Yeah, so at this point, we're in a very simple cleanup at this point, right? So this didn't really feel like it changed. It still feels like it's still in that range. It could be a 1-shot, could be a 2-shot at minimum. Nothing really changed in that matter. But again, if I had Valor, I'd be able to call to assist, but now I wouldn't. But again, the Valor assisting on convergence, not really all that important. So that's the status with the ships, y'all. Figured you guys kind of have like what this update has affected the fleet meta. Affected a little bit. It hasn't affected me personally because I don't use Profundity versus Leviathan, but I understand some people don't have Windu up and running and they prefer Profundity. I think it's more they're trying to make sure with the Rogue One, the Profundity doesn't go too far ahead of Leviathan. That's my guess, but it sucks they're taking it away from people that can't get Rogue One up and running. And now it feels like you might need that to get back to where you're expecting your Profundity to be. So anyways, that's going to wrap it up for today. Give me like another day or so of testing, you know, Hondo Anaka. Let's just say I don't have many great things to say. There's a lot of funny things about him that I like. But overall, for, again, high relic cost and a lot of marquees and one of the biggest drags of an era that felt like it took forever. Not a great way to cross the finish line, but for what I'm seeing, a lot of people are complaining to CG, and I'm guessing they're probably seeing some of the feedback. So what they do with it, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you guys what you're going to do here. For everyone who likes this video today, I got a special giveaway for all of you folks out there. Yes, for every person who likes this video, you'll be getting for free in your account. Definitely not a scam. An 8-star. Look, they finally added me to the game. Someone's like, the F is this? OMG, you're right. Hold on, you gotta go up a second. Hold on. It's Arnold T101. I'm finally added in the game. God dang. I gotta say, this is probably the nicest compliment I've got. If someone said they look like Ewan McGregor, or maybe they're saying I'm ugly because this guy's essentially saying that this is an ugly model. So does that mean I'm ugly? Well, on that unfortunate bombshell, I'll have to ponder that over the weekend. Thank you guys for stopping by. Enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you guys later. Next week's going to be a big one with Rogue One, and who knows, maybe we'll get something on, some news on Hondo if CG's happy with the performance that he's bringing. But listen, you guys are always bringing the heat. You guys are always bringing the party. And that's why at the end of the day, I'm always saying how it's great to be in the Empire today. It's great.